Hello. Hello. Um, excuse me. Hopefully this sound is sounding. I know there's been a pattern of sound not sounding properly, but I did the mute and unmute trick that seems to have worked last time, so hopefully it does do the sound thing that sound is supposed to do. um, Let me do the link stuff a little bit later than usual tonight, but this one won't be a very long one, so hopefully it'll kind of balance itself out time-wise. So around when we would normally end is probably around the same time we're still gonna end, sort of thing. I was kind of at a loss of as far as news stuff to do today, since the only stuff that's really going on that is important is the Epstein stuff, but that's sort of a continuation from before, and it's sort of like an ongoing thing. Like, not a lot of news, really. It's more like Thomas Massey is still fighting the good fight for everybody, and Trump is still upset at him for whatever, and things are sort of the same place they were at last time. So I figured there were a few things that last time we talked about Erika Kirk, and I said that I was watching this video of her doing an interview, and she said some weird stuff about how Charlie would have chosen to stay in heaven or whatever, and I want to actually go over a few of those clips today. Just just the other one, some weird stuff that I found, and then the Dyer stuff. So he had that debate with Gnostic Informant. Is that the name? Yeah. And that what a complete mess. But let me get organized here and do the links and all the stuff I normally do in the beginning. But hello, re-examination. Hello. If you welcome back. There was that RFK and Kid Rock video this week. Oh, I haven't seen that. Is that a funny thing? I haven't seen the funny thing. If you want to post anything in the Discord somewhere, I'm down to play it and see what it's about. But I haven't seen that. Maybe I'm not the best person to do weekly news updates if I can't even be the one to follow along properly and watch the news myself. Maybe this isn't like the best job for me to try to do. You would think somebody that would be like, oh, I'm gonna share some weekly news with everybody. You would think that person would go out and find whatever is the weekly news that is to be shared. But no, I suppose not. It's just that everything that I saw as far as like a summary of the past few days of stories was just not that interesting. So it was like, meh. I'm sure that things have happened in the world. It's not like the world stops or anything, but yeah, maybe maybe I'm not the best person for this. It's just I'm working out in a sauna shirtless. Probably best we don't. I don't know. Probably best we don't. That sounds a little. It sounds a little spicy for me. That's huh. RFK and Kid Rock video in a sauna shirtless. Ugh. I don't know if I want to see that. I don't think I do. I don't think I want to see that. That sounds kind of icky. Oh yeah, is the Kid Rock thing still going on from when that whole TPUSA halftime show situation? I know there was some drama about that, and them basically lying about their numbers, and Kid Rock quotes came out, some weird stuff about um, one of his songs had weird lyrics about underage, you know what. I don't know if that's still going around, that particular drama. I still can't believe that they, the TPUSA halftime thing, that they would lie about their numbers like that. That was crazy. We got like 20 million live viewers. Oh my goodness, so popular. What a joke. They moved on, you know. The drama like that tends to circle around for like a week or so tops, so that makes sense. But I haven't heard of Kid Rock for like years, and now it's one thing after another with him in it, so it's a little interesting that he suddenly popped up and is sort of in the general news atmosphere. Those aren't real words. What am I doing? Okay, I need to do my link thing. The link thing. The thing with the links. But I have seen, I have gone pretty deep down the rabbit hole of the whole, the Charlie Kirk assassination and all of the weirdness around it. Lately, there are people claiming that it's there were some basically some audio that has been out, but they were like re-reviewing the audio of, you know how when cops talk to each other on the radio, people can pick it up and record it, and it's like archived. So it's that audio from that area during that event and the hours following that people have been analyzing, and some of them are talking about how, um, like what people have been reporting at the time of it happening, that there was apparently a suspect with long hair and a rifle and a face mask and whatever, and like shoulder length hair, something like that. And I think this is really a stretch because it could be anybody, but people were saying how the roommate of the guy who is accused of unaliving Mr. Kirk, his roommate has longer hair like that and seems to fit the description. But so do a lot of. Okay, long hair on men isn't that common, but it's not like unheard of. So yeah, there's some theories floating out there, but there's some other ones. I've heard people are like counting the Camrys, but a Camry is a really like a Toyota Camry. That's a really popular car. So the fact that a Camry happens to be doing something around the area is also I think that's also kind of a stretch because again, very common make and model of a car. What am I doing? Oh, I totally got distracted. So let me. Oh, there it is. Okay, I gotta do my links. I gotta do the links. And this one. I gotta write. I don't know if Discord doesn't or does allow bots, um, or scripts or things like that. I kind of want to write a script for whenever I go live, when I can copy uh, the link that is the link of the live video that I'm doing currently, where I can kind of sort of, not kind of sort of, but for real, copy paste that into the script and have it sort of go and post as me in all of the channels that are normally posted as, um, for like the what is that called? Self-promo sort of channels and the other Discords. I kind of want to write a script for it to do that on its own. Like whichever predefined ones I have specifically put in there too. Oh, that one cut off my little thing. It got cut off. Is it probably? I don't know if you know what I'm talking about with the you know, it got cut off in the X post. That's unfortunate. I really like the thing imaging. I like it. I think it's cute. And it got cut off, unfortunately. That is unfortunate. Okay. I think I can do this pretty quickly. Probably. Maybe like a minute or so. It usually doesn't take more than that for the links. This one. This one. Kind of want to start joining debate panels again once in a while, just so people sort of know I still exist. Because I haven't been doing that in a while, so it might be time to do that. I should probably do something like that at least once a month or so. Find some panels to join and practice my social skills, which definitely needs some practice. All right, now that that's done, let me get my... So I guess we can start with the Erika Kirk clips, because I have a few of those that, as I was watching, I was like, So let me get those pulled up. And I have hopefully these timestamps are the right timestamps. Because I took notes like as I was watching, but I had to find the timestamps. I have to ask for the timestamps. I think it's oh no, that's the text file. What am I doing? Okay, I think it's over here. Here it is. Okay. Oh, so the first I was watching something from TPUSA. Fox had set up a little area there where they were interviewing people from TPUSA, and there was a fun little clip that I it's over here somewhere. 1 second. Why does it sound all weird like that? There we go. Okay, all right. So let me share the screen here. Let's do this one. Yeah, let's do that one. Oh, that is way off in there. I know what I'm doing. Okay, so this is sort of something to keep in mind for the future clips. So this isn't the Erika Kirk clip, but this is something that I happen to be watching, and my ears sort of perked up because there was something I heard in the Erika Kirk clips or the Erika Kirk interview, not the clips, whatever, interview, that made this be like, oh, interesting, that we will hear later. So this is sort of something that we are to keep in mind. It's only about like 1 or 2 minutes.
In Western civilization. Totally. And so, we're going to squabble. We're going to fight it out. We're going to debate. And you need to not clutch your pearls when you see that.
Is this about the traffic? No, it is not about that. But I know that there is a lot of weird, like Erika Kirk related, um, sort of trafficking related stuff that is around her that is odd. But this is not about that. This is related to, well, this particular clip is related to something that she says later. But this is somebody from, oops, this is somebody from TPUSA. I forgot his name. I've heard the names a lot, and I've seen the faces, but I haven't connected the names to the faces. But this is one of the TPUSA people.
We're going to fight it out. We're going to debate, and you need to not...
Is this maybe Andrew Colvett? No, I don't know. I don't know what the names and the faces are not sticking together for me for some reason, but this is one of the higher up TPUSA people. Oops.
Clutch your pearls when you see that. You need to understand
Totally
that
agree.
is part of the process. There's healing in that. And hopefully when we realize that we have a bigger goal in mind, that we will share that and come together.
It's funny, last week we did a segment on Fox and Friends where George Clooney and I think Travis Kelce all said, we never fight in our marriages or our relationships.
It's about this.
And Sean and I always say, whenever we hear someone say, they don't, in their marriage, they don't fight, we're like, they're going to get divorced. Because everyone fights. I mean, that's just what you do.
You are a spicy Latina.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I'm pretty spicy.
But yes.
But let's talk about.
But yes. So, oh, there's fluff in here again. Damn it. I hate it when there's fluff. So keeping that in mind, let me find. It's funny they say that because. All right. Since I played this one, I suppose we could probably start with that one, but. Oh, 24. Oh, yeah. Okay. Why did it get big like that? I don't want to see it huge like that. Crazy. Okay. 24. Always with the tapping with the tissue. Goodness. Okay. I'll sort of let it play a minute ahead of the part, but here is Mrs. Kirk herself.
Hard book to read. Not because it was about grief, but because in the opening pages he talked about how angry he was with God. And I've never felt that. I'm not angry with God. Never have been.
Can you hear it okay, by the way? Should I turn it up? Let me know if the sound is alright. Because I know she's kind of quiet. Oh, also, somebody said that my microphone thing was not right, so I changed it. I changed some settings from auto to manual, so hopefully the microphone, my actual microphone, is all right too. Hopefully that sounds okay, because I have adjusted it since I was told that something about the like sound gate was off and my words were being cut off in the beginning, things like that. So I have adjusted it, but it is a fresh adjustment, so hopefully that works too. But anyway.
Never have I questioned, why, Lord, are you putting me through this? Why are you testing me? Why are you? Because God is so
Oh, hello, Naz. Welcome back.
good, and he's so sovereign.
Is it pretty low? Oh, damn. Does mine sound kind of the same as hers, or is it a lot lower than usual? Because I have made adjustments for it to be. I made like adjustments for it to be manual, but maybe I haven't bumped it properly. The video sounds louder. Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought it would I would be the one that was louder. I'm gonna have to mess with it somewhere afterwards. But you know what? Actually, oh, I muted myself. It's like, wait a minute. Is that better? I think that should probably be a little louder. Yeah, hopefully that is louder and not too loud. Let me go ahead and resume this one. And oh, let me turn this off. Okay. There we go.
And I know he uses everything.
Oh, that is loud.
Even what the enemy meant for evil. And I have no regrets. And I think that that's why processing this for me is probably different than most, because people say, how can you do all what the other you do? And it's because I loved and still love Charlie. I loved him so hard. Meaning there was not one day where I did not just obsessively tell him, I love you.
So this isn't the part that I was getting at, but not one day, really? And I don't know. I find that hard to believe. I think if people really are legitimately married and they're used to each other and they see each other every day, for somebody to every single day obsessively be like, I love you so much. I love you so much. It hurts. I love you, Charlie. Every single day. Jeez. Yeah, I have trouble believing that, because who would really want that? I mean, that doesn't sound right. I don't think people normally do that. Really? Like obsessively like that? I find that hard to believe. That would be creepy. Oh, hello, Trusty. This who this I will not say the B word, but oh, I turned the volume down on accident. If I scroll my mouse, which I accidentally do all the time, it messes with the volume. Sorry about that. I wish I didn't do that. I'll have to figure out how to disable that later, but the volume on the video itself. But yeah, it can get it can get annoying for sure. And yeah, thank you for the sound thing. Hopefully that it's a little bit better, but I can I'll have to mess with it at some point. Seems a little performative, but I know she's trying to portray a certain lifestyle. Yeah, she's really really trying to portray it quite hard here, because like right before she saying this, she was like, oh well, it's something along the line. Let me see.
Evil. And I have no regrets. And I think that that's why processing this for me is probably different.
Oh, this whole like everybody grieves differently, and don't mind if you see somebody grieving differently than you. Everybody's acting weird when it's really she's the only one that's acting weird. And this is another one of those, like, oh, that's probably why I'm, acting this way where I'm not so sad or whatever, because I kept telling him obsessively every day how much I loved him so much. It's another one of those, like, oh, don't that it's constantly trying to explain away her weird behavior. Maybe just don't behave weird. Just, the traditional family values and all. Yeah, but that's really, maybe it is sort of overplaying it, because she really isn't a traditional woman by any real like trad wife standard. That's not really what she is at all. She's got the education, like master's degrees. She's the CEO of several businesses. She started this, she started that. She speaks publicly. She's now the CEO of an even bigger thing with donors, etc. So there is no like trad con. There's no trad about her. So maybe that's why she's trying to play it up so much harder, because it's like it is sort of an acting role for her. So it's, if you don't really have a real sense of being traditional, and you're stuck portraying somebody who's traditional, and you basically have to play it up, because you don't have it day to day, so you have to act like you have it. And if you don't know exactly what to act like, it's going to come out weird like this. It's going to come out completely unrealistic. Because the only way to explain that is it's an act. If you act something out, you can exaggerate it. All right, let me quit blabbing and get to the it's coming up.
Than most, because people say, how can you do all what the other you do? And it's because I loved and still love Charlie. I loved him so hard. Meaning there was not one day where I did not just obsessively tell him, I love you. We barely argued.
Oh my god, look, she squeezed out a tear. I see one. I see a tear. And with how what's weird is, like, she's constantly like obsessively has this like tissue and is like tapping her face constantly, but the one time there is an actual single tear on her face, the one time there is a bit of moisture that is visible, she does not get out her little like handkerchief thing and start like tapping it away. She's got to make sure everybody sees a little tear there. There's no tapping going on for a while. With how, like, all of the other times when it's completely dry and there's nothing to wipe, she's constantly like patting and patting, and you can see there's nothing that is being patted away. And the one time she's not sitting there obsessively doing that, you can actually see it here. Oh, that is so weird. All right. When she slips kind of into a whisper.
And if ever it was just something as simple as, where do you want to go eat for dinner? He never raised his voice to me. He never cussed at me. We were never resentful towards each other. And even to the last day, I always kept telling him how much I love you, how proud I am of you. I always told him I was proud of him, because I was. No regrets. No regrets. Because I loved him so much. And I never let there be a day that went by that he didn't know that.
Did you watch the news?
Not a single day. And it's sort of funny because I saw this, and then maybe like an hour or so later I was watching the TPUSA thing in the background, the clip that we played earlier, where that lady was like, oh, if a couple says they don't ever fight, then they're gonna get divorced. That one. I sort of had that on in the background as I was doing something else, having watched this earlier, and I heard that and my ears perked up. They were like, wait a minute. just heard somebody say basically that, and it's funny how that works, huh? Oh, hello, Ricknell. Nice to see you. Welcome back. Just keeping me on my toes, my toesies. You never called her the B word. Congratulations. Yeah, like, yeah. I mean, she said something about like, oh, the only time we ever even had a disagreement is like, what are we gonna get to eat? So yeah, if you really never fought, then I think I agree with that Fox lady, or the Fox Nation lady, that she was talking to that other TPUSA person, where she was like, oh, if you don't ever fight, then you're probably gonna get a divorce. Oh, why is it moving? This is annoying. Okay, let me get the next one. So these are gonna be out of order. There's one around an hour 15. So it's about an hour and 15 seconds, not 15 minutes. All right, let's do a few more clips from this interview. And one of these is going to be the one that I talked about before, where like he would have chosen to stay in heaven or whatever. That one's gonna which one is that? That one. Oh, it is this one. Okay, it is this one. Okay. This is the one. All right.
And I truly believe that if the Lord, which this does not happen, but if the Lord gave him an option to return back to earth, and if the Lord said, this is what your death is going to be the catalyst for, do you want to go back and exchange it?
So this is like, this is her saying, say Charlie is up there in heaven, he's over there by the gates, and Peter or whoever is like, you can go on in, it's all good. But God comes down or over or whatever, and God is like, Charlie, you can go back to your own life if you want. You can go back, and you're young, you're rich, you're famous, you have a family, you have 2 young children, you have a full life ahead of you. You don't have to die. You can go right back down and keep on living your pretty amazing life by all accounts. Maybe except for the wife situation, but those things can be resolved. You can go back and live out the rest of your life. It's all good. You can always come back to heaven later. We're gonna keep your seat warm up in heaven for you or whatever. If that was the option,
He'd say no.
he'd say no. No thanks. I'm good. I don't want to go back and live out my life. I don't care that my children are gonna grow up without me, and the creepy wife situation is going on, and even though I've preached about women, staying home my entire life, I'm totally cool with her suddenly girl bossing her way up into my chair and taking over the company that I built and taking it into a direction that I didn't want to take it, and taking all of the donor money that I didn't want to take, and doing all of the things that near the end of my life, oddly enough, I decided against doing. Yeah, I totally. You know what? It's all good. Because my death is such a catalyst for whatever, because they're gonna sell this merch and make all this money and get all these donors because of like this organization is gonna make all this cash, and my wife is gonna be swimming in it and all of the fame and money. I'm the catalyst for that happening. So I'm gonna stay up here. I'm here in heaven, and she can take over. It's all good. She can. The wife got it. It's all good. I don't need to live anyway. Who needs to live? Who needs that? I mean, who wants to live when I can be the catalyst for her getting rich? I almost lost it when I heard this. Well, he would have to, according to his worldview. No, you're supposed to give up all worldly things, unless I'm interpreting that wrong. I don't know. I don't think it's really meant like that. Obviously, I'm not an expert on religious stuff, as I say so often, but I think people are allowed to still live their lives, and if somebody has a choice to continue living their life, I don't think there's anything like biblically or religiously wrong with choosing to continue to live your life, rather than, because the other option, like what she's saying, is like he would rather be a catalyst because of what his death has done. She's like, oh, it's the catalyst for this big whatever movement, the money, everything. So I think that it's like either you live your life or you're a catalyst for some like material thing. So I think like what he would give his life up for in this case, she's talking about being also like a material thing. Because what else can being a catalyst mean other than what he literally is a catalyst for, is TPUSA growing in power and money and influence. Oh, thank you so much. That is so nice. I appreciate that. All right. There's a few more seconds of this one, but then we'll go to the next one.
Wow. He'd say no. Because it was never about him.
Because I don't know if you can hear that, but he'd say no because it was never about him. It's about all the cash. Is it about all the cash, Erika? Is it?
His radio show, his organization, his passion.
Yeah, I don't know if he would. Honestly, if he had the chance to choose between his organization growing in a direction that he didn't want it to grow with all of the money he didn't want to take, or kind of staying where it was at before, where he was already rich and famous and had his family, I don't think he would have chosen the direction that he literally didn't want to go, according to the last several of his text messages and conversations that people have reported. So, yeah.
It was never about him. He stood on stage and said, "Here I am, Lord, use me."
I know she's bringing God into this, but this is more like, here I am, Erika, use me. Like that's giving herself permission to use his death in all of these ways that very clearly benefit her in all of the material, earthly ways. Absolutely. And sure, you can sprinkle some God into it, but it doesn't make it any better. Oh my goodness, what a freaking mess. Oh, where is your examination? Exactly. We have biblical questions over here. Important biblical questions that need answers.
If convicted, do you think?
And he sort of moves on. I don't know if I don't know if he like even wants to discuss this anymore. He's like, he's changing the topic here. Because what do you say to that? Like, let's it's okay. Let's use my husband's death. The Lord wants us to use the death. This is so cringe. And this is not a recent interview. This was I don't remember the exact date, but this isn't very long after the actual assassination happened. Right. 103. Well, let's just keep playing a little bit because oh, did I go back on accident?
And if the Lord said,
I think I went back on accident.
ledger when I stand before the Lord.
All right.
Never about it. And exchange it. He'd say no.
I'll try not to touch it, but I think it's like a few minutes after this, so we'll just play it.
Wow.
He'd say no. Because it was never about it. His radio show, his organization, his passion. This was never about him. He stood on stage and said, "Here I am, Lord, use me."
If convicted, do you think your husband's killer should get the death penalty?
That's not my role. I made it very clear to the team when they asked me that question. I said, I do not want this.
Yeah, I mean, didn't she come out with this very public thing basically at his what was supposed to be a funeral but was more like a campaign stop combination with like the fireworks like fight ring event. Whatever that was supposed to be like a funeral or memorial, whatever that was. At that event, she came out and she was like, that young man, that I don't have a tissue. Oh, here's that young man, that man, that young man, I forgive him. So she forgives him. What kind of question is that? It's like, if you forgive him, why would you want him to die? So I don't even know why they asked for this. You don't want to be you don't want to be the guy pushing back on a grieving widow. Yeah, absolutely. And she forgave him for the grift. Oh my goodness.
I said, I do not want this man's blood on my ledger when I stand before the Lord. I want the government to decide. It's biblical too. Justice will ultimately be served.
I thought she forgave him, so why not just say no? Like, no, don't kill him. I forgive him. Don't kill him. He's a young man. Charlie wanted to save young men like him. What happened to that? This is just like, oh well, the government can kill him if they want to. It's sort of whatever now. Oh well.
Justice is the Lord's. And I trust in that.
This country was founded by men of God, and they wrote laws based on Christian values. Where are we now?
So far gone from that. Because we've dissected it. We've overanalyzed it. We've paralyzed it. We've looked at every comma, every T, every I dotted, and overanalyzed it to the point of, what did they really mean? What did they really say? Well, They meant what they said.
What? What do you mean? She said it's biblical too, sounded a little bit defensive. Yeah, if everything she seems to really use God and her religion as a shield. Like she's so religious she can't possibly be a bad person because she is so religious. So all of this, coincidentally, all this stuff that's making her rich and famous, it's all because the Lord is using her for some otherworldly god stuff. It's something like that, you know. So it's all good that she's, you know, swimming in cash and taking advantage of her husband's assassination. That's all perfectly normal because don't you see how devoted to God she is? She is such a good, perfectly religious widow. We were founded by men of God, and our country is based off Christian values. So I hear that a lot. That I've heard that so many times that I don't even like. It doesn't even faze me anymore. But yeah, that sounded so profound. Like, what is this like? Oh, we're over analyzing the stuff, and they meant what they said. What did they mean again? This is so weird. She's so serious too. Like, oh no, did I skip again on accident?
Not everything has to be dissected. Christian values are so important. But just because you're not a Christian, or you don't believe, or you're agnostic, or you're of a different religion, doesn't mean that the Constitution...
Did she like forget what the other religions are? She's like, if you're not a Christian, or you don't believe, or you're agnostic, or you're like, she couldn't name the other religions, at least like a couple. It's like she like forgot what the other ones are or something.
is not something that you could have as your own banner.
Oh yeah.
This country's amazing. My husband...
Yeah, it's either you're Christian or you're not, right? Everything else is sort of stuff.
loved this country. He died doing what he loved. Our rights don't come from a piece of paper, they come from God. It's so simple, life is so simple. But us humans always find a way to complicate it.
Charlie was...
Says the person who leads the most not simple life ever. Like, if I were to line up all of the people in the world who live life the simplest to slightly more complicated to like the most extravagant, complicated shit ever, she would be like on this end over here. She would not be even remotely close to the simple life living end over there. Not even close. All right, it's almost there.
On a mission to save Western civilization. Did you know that's what you signed up for?
Damn, I'm feeling some ASMR for all this whispering. Has Erika heard a Force Doctrine now? Oh my goodness. Somebody bring Andrew Wilson. Somebody has to sick Andrew Wilson onto Erika there. Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't gonna say nothing, but she did mention rights there, and yeah.
You know, well, no, I didn't sign up for anything. I just married the love of my life. Just so happens that that's what he was doing.
Yeah, okay. Her entire dating history that's public which seems like most of her life has been very public, so it's odd that she would pretend. It's even weird that she tried to lie about it, because everything is out there. For somebody that lived a very public life to go and turn around and be like, oh no, I didn't do any of that, while that evidence is out there, is that's a level of crazy that I had not expected. But her entire dating history is basically trying to date as famous of men as possible, or like those minor league um baseball players or whatever, or football players, whatever sports ball players that she kept dating. And then she moved on to that Cabot Phillips guy who was related to doing political stuff. It's like she kept trying to find men who were like on their way to be rich and famous and successful. So for her to say that she just happened to meet Charlie on basically a total accident, and just happened to fall so deeply in love with Charlie, and he just happened to be rich and famous, like, come on. Come on. Like, nobody's buying that. Nobody's buying that. I hope nobody is buying that. Who's buying that? Even people who believe that she is an innocent grieving widow, they can't be buying that. They can't possibly. I mean, come on. He just happened to be just so happened to be totally rich and famous. High status people tend to date and hang out in the same circle out of convenience and familiarity. I don't even know if she's like she was that high status originally. Like, her mom potentially has some, like, runs a business or something, and could be allegedly connected to some like shady government stuff, potentially some of those shady agencies and things like that. But I don't know if she's like that influential on her own, besides that pageant that she was in. So I don't know. She certainly didn't date down. She kept trying to find men who were going to be like almost rich and famous, like almost there. And her whole, like, it's not like she bumped into Charlie at a coffee shop or anything. That that meeting was clearly set up by somebody. And yeah, I mean, this wasn't an accident. And she went, and they allegedly, she went for a job interview or something, but then she says in like the retelling of the story how they met, she was like, oh well, I don't even need the job, so it's fine if you don't want to hire me. Then why did you even do this interview if you don't really even want it? Like, she was like, oh, I'm too busy out here anyway, so why did you go? Very clearly you went because to meet Charlie and say all of the right things, even though, so as somebody that is at the time was living, well, and still does, obviously, with what's happened, somebody who was living a very like super feminist girl boss life her entire life, met Charlie, who is very like anti all of that. And in one conversation, he decided he wanted to date her because they talked all about philosophy and religion and politics and everything. And she just happened to say all of the right things in order for him to want to date her immediately after that one conversation. And she didn't even want the job, and her living a completely different life from the kind that he would expect in a woman. Yeah, I mean, it's really not adding up as sort of a chance thing that sort of accidentally happened. You think she's a spy? I don't know. Some people allege that, but she was likely his handler. I have heard that. Obviously, there's no evidence for that stuff, but things do seem to. There are a lot of sort of coincidences here, and a big pile of coincidences, which they could be just coincidences. Just she doesn't relate with lower class dudes. I don't see Miss Pageant date a plumber. Why not? What's wrong with that? I mean, if it's really for love, there could be some plumber that comes over to do plumbing on their house and bends over, and she sort of happens to be in the kitchen or the bathroom or whatever. She looks down and she sees that ass crack for the first time, and it is love at first sight. It could happen. You don't know that. It's not like people that are slightly more rich don't ever interact with people that are not rich. They're not like completely in bubbles. Um None of them relate with people from a different class. I don't know. I have met people who are rich and famous who are very down to earth, who know lots of people who aren't rich and famous, who would date people who are not rich and famous. And there are plenty of people who are sort of higher class that end up marrying sort of lower class economically people and don't think any less of them or anything. So I can't relate to these smuggles. Yeah, circumstantial evidence. Thank you. She's a theater kid, an actress, and a beauty pageant winner. I don't think it's nefarious. I didn't need this plumber fantasy. I apologize. I'm so sorry. I just sort of went with it. Could, but less likely. People of different classes don't mix as much as we like to idealize. I don't know. I've seen it, and I try to sort of think better of people, I suppose, but it is what it is. She certainly moved higher up. Like the one that was the richest and most influential of them all is the one she ended up marrying, even though she clearly interacted with all of these other ones, but she didn't end up marrying them. She had to pick like the richest, most influential one. All right. Oh, on average, they stick with their own class. Wealth is the main factor. But even the other dudes that she dated at the time that like were maybe on their way to get rich, it seems like, well, one of them, as soon as he was dropped from, like he was dropped from the team that he was playing for, she dumped him basically immediately, even though she already knew him and they were already dating. So it's not like she like happened to run in the same circles and happened to meet him because they happened to know the same people. They were already dating, and as soon as he got dumped from his team, he got dumped by her too. So it's eh, I don't know. I think it's pretty clear that she was picking based on um, sort of wealth and influence. Um, she was already rich. Once you have enough money, it doesn't really matter. You tell her that, because clearly she's trying to obtain more and more money every single day. Clearly that doesn't seem to be enough. Even having what she had with Charlie wasn't enough, because she's like raking it in. She could literally retire right now and still be extremely rich and retire and take care of her children. But she is doing this like CEO thing that other people could do better. Like somebody who is a man that has worked with Charlie could probably do this way better than her to like carry on his legacy or whatever. And instead of taking what she already had, all of the ridiculous amounts of riches that she already had, and going and retiring, she chose to be girl boss, the thing that Charlie was against, and take over this whole thing. Yeah, I mean, it's not adding up. I'm sorry, it's not. This is who the whatever podcast is beefing with. She is very girl bossy, and yeah, I mean they're always going on about how, oh well, women they just want the richest man and they want the most influential man, etc., etc. And here she is, and people are like, oh well, she just happens to hang out with all the rich people, and she just happened to break up with that guy after he got dumped from his team. It's all a coincidence. It's just a coinkydink. She's counting every hat sale. She's now running a business instead of being a wife. She could still be a mom and not run a business and still have all the cash in the world. I'm not sure if you've run a business. I get the criticism of her, but yeah, about ego more than money. The ego and the money and the power and having people. Money is definitely playing a factor here, but money goes in combination with influence, and it seems like being influential is. I would agree that being influential in general and being famous is probably more important to her than just money, but money is definitely in the picture. At their asset level, they generate millions a month. That's 3%. Yeah, she could retire. She could have retired like the second that she's like stepped up to be CEO. She could have retired the next day. She could have not even done that at all and stayed a house like mom and not lifted a finger and still had an extremely wealthy, privileged life for both herself and her children and the rest of her family, whoever that may be that doesn't already have their own money. She didn't have to do like all of this and jump in front of every single camera the second that Charlie died. All right. Let's see where we're at here. Okay, we're almost to the. I gotta quit blabbing so much because we're almost to the part. The clip there.
No, that's what you signed up for.
You know, well, no, I didn't sign up for anything. I just married the love of my life. Just so happens that that's what he was doing. He built a machine. The team that he has built and assembled, that he handpicked, he was so good at picking talent.
He handpicked the team. He was so good at it, and then from like the past several months, or the past like 2 months, she's been firing them. Like mass firings of those handpicked team member people that Charlie himself wanted to have handpicked, that he was so good at picking, that special team that she said they weren't gonna fire because of money. Good thing that she added that because of money caveat there, because they're definitely being fired.
It wasn't the people who graduated at the top of
The mass firings are not a secret.
their class. He loved when people had a work ethic that focused on being able to earn the position they're in. And he loved to be able to push them so hard. Everyone here that's a part of the team has a piece of Charlie in them.
Everybody here has a piece of Charlie, and she fired them. Mass firings of pieces of Charlie. I suppose she doesn't really care to have all the pieces of Charlie, because she's throwing them away. It's what Charlie would have. and said, yeah, to get rid of all of his pieces and all of the people that he handpicked. Yeah, that's yeah. Basically every appearance is like that.
And it's really powerful to be able to witness that, to be able to have people that are grieving be able to be in a position to pour that pain into the purpose of Turning Point USA, into the purpose of Charlie, into the legacy of Charlie, and pull off. And
this really not supports, but this goes right in hand with when that video that video and that audio got leaked. That was a few days after Charlie's assassination, where she was basically guilt tripping them into coming back to work and saying, "Oh, Charlie would have wanted you to keep working, and we have all this stuff to do. We got so many hat orders, and we got so many people are donating and buying all the merch. We got merch sales." She's basically guilt tripping them into coming back to work, and we've learned later as well that they were working crazy hours. That all of the pieces of Charlie have been working crazy hours after his assassination, and then they get mass fired. That is just wonderful. Just wonderful. She's fake. That's the qualm. Most authentic folk can read it easy. Yeah, it's basically immediately as soon as she started popping up in all of the interviews, immediately, like, something is very off here. And I think initially more people were trying to give her some grace, because, like, oh, she like just lost her husband, she's not acting right, everybody grieves differently, as she loves to repeat. But camera after camera, interview after interview after interview, and something is still very, very off. And I think after those leaks came out of her on that video call, and on that audio from the TPUSA stuff shortly after his death, I think ever since people heard that, I think even more people started noticing everything else that all of us have been noticing the whole time, and it's not going well for her lately. But if only she were genuine, I don't think she would have all of these problems of people pointing out how fake she is. That's why we liked Kirk. And he was always real. Yeah, that's one thing that I was not a fan of Kirk, but I also didn't really listen to a lot of his stuff. After he died, there were a few things that I saw, like some interviews here and there, and I certainly didn't get. While I disagree with him politically, I never got the, like, fakeness impression that I get from her. That is true. Um, yeah, the genuine is that's a good description of everything she's not. Charlie wasn't definitely sincere in his beliefs, but I wouldn't say likable. The only thing that was out of alignment, I would say, from, like, the things that he said versus what he did, was Erika, because he kept saying, "Oh, well, if you're over 30, you're basically done for. Like, nobody's gonna want you." And then here she is, over 30, and he still married her. I think that they met when he was 25 and she was 30, and married when she was 32. So, and the whole, like, oh, well, women should stay at home and do all of this, and women shouldn't go to college, women shouldn't have a job, women shouldn't run a business, and she literally did all of those things. She has, what, like, a master's now. She ran multiple businesses. she was always like doing even the sort of immodest photo shoots are all basically the opposite of what he preached. So even the things that like the things that he was like saying one thing and doing something else, it was still mostly to do with her as far as I know. But again, I haven't seen a lot of his stuff besides I remember when he did that Jubilee episode, and that one girl asked him a question about like if your 10-year-old got assaulted, would about the abortion situation, and I commented on that when that was happening, and I was extremely disturbed by his answer to that particular question. Um, so that was something I obviously disagree with him politically on. But as far as his like show or anything, I didn't really watch that. But at least like when he came on stage and he started talking, he didn't really seem like at least he seemed like he was sort of his convictions were kind of like he was who he said he was, more or less. Um, well, I don't get that sense from her at all. So, like, I definitely disagree with Charlie Kirk on a lot of things, but the sense that I get from how absolutely not genuine he is, or not genuine she is, versus how he was sort of more, sort of what he said he believed, he probably did really believe. While what she says she believes, I don't really believe that she believes that, if that makes sense. I don't know how much credit can you give him since he mostly was known for destroying college students. I have watched a few of those where there was one college student that basically called him out on the setup. He was like, um, this was something to do with it was something to do with slavery in the Bible, and there was like apparently a girl that asks the students what they're gonna talk about, and like he has an earpiece, and so before the student comes up, he knows what they're gonna ask, and he decided to like ask someone something else, and then he was like, well, don't you want to say something about like slavery in the Bible or something like that, herp derp? And he basically called him out on the whole setup, like, oh, you have a girl back there asking the topics and everything. So I did see somebody call him out on like his whole college student like debate setup, but I didn't see a lot of those besides like part of that one. But a lot of people do stuff like that. Um, like what's his name? Myron Gaines also does like those college like debate things, and what's his name? Crowder famously had that like sign thing that he had. I forgot what it said, but it's not like a completely unique thing. The debating college students trying to make them look stupid. Kirk said he waited till marriage. He wasn't like most folk, and can see why he fell for a manipulator. Is that really true? Because she definitely did not wait until marriage. So if that's pretty sad, if like he saved himself for marriage and married somebody who very clearly did not. I've seen him change positions over the years too, as young men do when they age. Hello, Toasty. Just running by to say hi. Remember to like sub share the year. Oh yeah, all of that. I always forget to say stuff like that. Thank you. You should check out his debates with the Cambridge students. I have heard that he got owned in the UK. Oh, change my mind. Thank you. The change my mind stuff that Crowder does. Thank you. For some reason, I couldn't think of it. Crowder started it. The change my mind. Thank you. Yeah, it seems like it's not like a unique thing, because at least a handful of people who are like influential and famous do it. Oddly enough, all right wingers. I haven't seen any left wingers do that. So, and I understand it's supposed to like make college kids look stupid and like own them and all of that, but at least they're talking. So I don't know. I think having conversations is better than not having conversations. And on one hand, it was like, oh yeah, let's own the college kids. But on the other hand, you did have situations like somebody mentioned Cambridge thing. Oh, let me scroll up. Oh, I lost it. Yeah, Cambridge. Few welcome said the Cambridge stuff. So it does open up open up for the possibility of situations where they also sort of get schooled. So I think it can go both ways. But I never like in any of the stuff that I saw, even when he did like do this sneaky like owning college student stuff by knowing their topic ahead of time and all of that, like even there I didn't get this sense of like whatever it is that Erika is doing, I don't get that from him, or at least when he was alive. But I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. Something is very like disturbing about her and the whole situation and the complete like fakeness of something so serious, I guess. I don't know, like going so far as to use her husband's death and yeah, everything is something just doesn't fit in such a big way that it's uncomfortable. Like listening to her speak is uncomfortable because of how off-putting it is. Like something is very, very wrong, and I don't know exactly what to call it, but I don't really get that from a lot of people. Even a lot of people who are like even a lot of shitty politicians that are lying constantly and are, you know, fake and annoying. Even a lot of those, I don't get like this kind of discomfort listening to them. Because you sort of expect that from politicians, is that you kind of expect them to be shitty, but you expect like a widow to not do that, and she's doing all the things. I don't know, I'm blabbing too much. Charlie definitely converted some college kids through his debates. I don't know, kids that age, I'm sure that they flip-flop a lot as far as politics goes, and eventually when they're older they settle into what they're gonna be probably for most of their life. I would think it was meant to make them look stupid if it was edited, but most of these guys post the entire thing. They show themselves to be stupid is what happens. Yeah, I think what I mean by that is like he is older and more knowledgeable in all these topics, and then they are college students. So being sort of even Crowder and even Myron, like all of these people have their talking points and they've practiced their talking points and they've looked up all of the specific stuff. So when a bunch of college kids go up and they're like, well, what about this or what about that? You kind of expect college students to not be as educated on the particular topics as somebody who that's literally their job to do that. So there's sort of like a power imbalance, I guess, but they do volunteer to do that. So there is that. You can't really like you can't really like blame the person that is making the debates available if the people are volunteering to do the debates. Like if it's all it's all consensual, so it's all good. We were all dumb at 20. That is true. How can you not make a college student looking dumb though? Let's be honest. Yeah. We were all done with 20. Yeah, I mean it's college kids. Not all college kids. There are lots of college students that are smarter than I am. that's absolutely true. But there are a lot of them that are absolutely like very passionate, but not so knowledgeable. So their like passion for things tends to be bigger than their knowledge for that particular thing, and then they sort of that's when you have that sort of like flailing about of a lot of conviction, but not so much to back it up. Um, and then as they get older, they sort of fill in the blanks with the knowledge and tend to be less passionate, which I don't know if it's such a good thing, but that's kind of what I notice. I could be wrong though. Ignorance isn't as bad as stupidity. Yeah, like if you don't know yet, but you will probably like learn something later versus you simply like don't get it sort of thing. Is that what you mean by that? I can see that. All right, I think this is it for that clip. Let me move on to the next one. Oh, there's a little piece over here. Also, I don't know if what y'all feel about this, but everybody wearing like the t-shirt that he got killed in. I don't know how I feel about that. Cuz on one hand, it's like, freedom, the thing that he was supposedly standing for, but on the other hand, like that exact design of the shirt is the one that his life ended in, that shirt. So everybody wearing that and her wearing that, I don't know if I could. Like, if I really, if I had a husband and if he died in such a horrible way, or died at all in general, if I had a husband that I really loved and he died at all in general in any way, and he was wearing a particular shirt when he died, I don't think I could look at a shirt like that. Like, I just don't think I could. And for somebody that keeps going on about how much she was constantly she was obsessively telling him how much she loved him every single day, like in such an extreme way, like, oh my God, Charlie, I love you so much every day. I don't know. If that was true, I don't like trying to put myself in those kinds of shoes and like where the rhetoric is. I don't think I could look at a shirt like that and like be like keep my composure at all. And if I were to see other people, like a sea of people wearing that same shirt, I would lose it. I would lose my shit. I would completely lose all of my shits. And her wearing it and then other people wearing it, I don't know. Like, on one hand, I kind of see, like, sure, maybe it's, the merch sales. They want to sell the merch. And they are selling lots of merch, as we know from that leaked call. But I don't know. Personally, I don't think I could look at it. But she seems fine, so that's fine, I suppose. But who knows? Maybe he was going to start debating more important figures on a topic until that day. Yeah, you never know. I know he did. Well, I was gonna say he did do some other debates, but real, the only debates that I know him doing were the whatever podcast and that like Jubilee episode. I'm sure he's done others. I just haven't seen them. I wrote something else before, but your chat filter thingy is very sensitive. Oh, I'm sorry for that. Oh, I don't have it as live chat. I accidentally had it as top chat on accident, which I usually change, but I think I forgot this time. I'm sorry if I missed any messages because I had my setting was different. But as far as it being sensitive, it should be pretty standard. I set everything to like basic options. Okay, where was I? Let me catch up here. I lost my place. I'm sorry if I missed any messages. I think I lost my place here, but that I think I already read that one. Yep. Okay, this is the one where I left off, I think. Yeah, the branding, shirt sales, baby. It's all symbolic. Normal human reaction if a partner passed in tragedy would grieve for a year. Do you think they've succeeded in turning Charlie into a martyr for the movement? I think it's something that probably yes, but I don't think it's gonna last. I think this is I think it's a temporary thing, unfortunately, and once people sort of figure out what really happened and get to the bottom of things, because the only thing that is currently sort of keeping Charlie Kirk in kind of the news is the fact that Erika Kirk is being super creepy and not genuine and lying her butt off, and it's basically all about her, how she's a liar, and her sort of like defending herself against that. But as far as him being sort of a martyr, I think that, sorry if I say that word weird, I always could never properly say that word for some reason, but I don't think it's gonna last. I think like she sold the book already, like what, like a few days after. sh- When did they? Because I think he was like still working on the book, and then suddenly it's done, and now she's like what, a month or two after his death, she's already going on the tour, selling the um posthumous book. Yeah, I'm sorry if I say words weird, but I don't think it's gonna last, because as soon as people get to the bottom of like what really happened, if we ever do, because so much is weird about the case, and people more or less feel content with the resolution of like who gets punished for what happened. I don't think that I don't think his show survives. I don't think that without Charlie, like people are, I know that they're trying to keep like his show going. They're trying to keep like the TPUSA thing is that TPUSA itself might survive, but I don't think it's going to be better off. I think the influx of money and the influx of students post death, like currently right now, that's definitely a bump, but I think it will probably even back out as soon as the case gets settled. People don't have that long of like our attention spans are shorter and shorter constantly, so unfortunately I don't think it's gonna last. Opportunism for sure. Candace Owens too. Um well, Candace has other stuff though. It's she was already pulling similar numbers, doing her like Bridget Macron stuff and other stuff. Like I don't think Candace is gonna like once this stuff is figured out, I think she's gonna be fine. She's gonna move on to like whatever the next thing is, because she was already big before the Charlie situation happened. She might she's definitely gonna have to come up with like new content ideas though, but I think she'll be fine. Only question that I have now is how a 3006 does that. The caliber does not reflect that. Yeah, there's so many questions on things from that day. I have a lot of questions. The amount of questions I have would not fit in like a short monologue. I think that might have to be their own episode. But um, for all of Candace's faults, she did uncover a lot of things that there is evidence for if you sort of set aside the whole I had a dream thing and only pay attention to the actual leaks and that's sort of actually the leaks and the texts and everything. So I think she has brought to light a lot of evidence that is certainly interesting, and ignoring that is suspicious. They did the Super Bowl thing too, TPUSA. Oh yeah, that was with how not well that went for them. That's sort of another example of they sort of hope to be a lot bigger and than they really are. And yeah, that did not go well for them. Owens has a cult. Next week it'll be Martian. She already mentioned underground Mossad escape tunnels. Yeah, Candace is very hit and miss as far as like legitimate information for sure. Candace is the one doing the weird grieving Erika was talking about. Weird grieving. I don't know what you mean exactly by that. I know she went on like certain interviews and she was all like, "Stop," but I don't remember exactly what was said. That was a while ago though. Yeah. Weird grieving. I don't know. Like, to be fair, Candace has like she was close friends with Charlie, and she seems a lot more determined to get to the bottom of whatever happened to him than Erika is. Erika seems more focused on like sort of look at me, I'm so happy, versus Candace is trying to be like, let's get to the bottom of this kind of thing. So I don't know. Like, for all of the sort of odd things she says, and for all of her faults, I do think that she probably really did care for Charlie. And, like, sure, it is content for her, but she is doing a lot more, like, investigating than I think the cops are. So there is that. I think it's certainly a mixed bag of what you get with Candace. Feels like Charlie's death hit her pretty hard. This one YouTuber said, "I won't stop talking about Owen's conspiracy revenues increased 400%. Respect the honesty." Yeah. She's, yeah. It, I know she, like, people say, so, oh, you know, there's something about the bees, and they make fun of her for having dreams, but Erica is coming out here and saying like, he's still here in the room. I can like feel him in the bathroom or whatever. Like, why can she say stuff like that and Charlie's close friend can't have a dream about him? I don't know. It seems a little like double standard, but whatever.
I'm not afraid. I'm not.
Not that dreams are evidence or anything, but she's allowed to have that.
My focus is so heavenward. You can call us names. You can slander us. You can say.
Oh, I got distracted by the Freedom shirt. I wanted to go to 110. Oh, going. I went back. I went to forward a little bit. 110. All right. Oh, oops. It's hard to get it exactly. There's one little phrase here that I thought was interesting.
God bless Turning Point USA. What do you hope to achieve for Charlie and for the country?
Oh my goodness. All of his wildest dreams for this organization and more. He left me a blueprint in all of his journals.
He left her a blueprint in all of his journals. This more it almost sounds like he was like planning on dying, and he was like, here you go, Erika, here's all my plans for the future, here's a pile of my journals, do all of this. When I'm dead, you gotta do all of this stuff. And it's almost like supposed to give her an excuse to take over the company, even though she wasn't really even an employee of it, as far as I know. And now she's like running it. So, like, sure, you can understand spouses talk to each other, but she's doing what with like the blueprint and journals and stuff. If you really wanted to do what Charlie wanted, then you probably wouldn't be taking it in this direction and taking all the donor money and bringing on Nicki Nicki Minaj to speak there and paying her all that cash to do so. Apparently it was like over $1 million that they paid her, I heard. I'm not 100% on that. That's something I read in passing, but I haven't verified, so just FYI. And then the whole, like, Ben Shapiro, apparently they were not friends at all. They had beef, and he was like the second speaker after her at the Turning Point, the TPUSA event, and the whole, like, he wanted to invite Candace to speak, which they obviously did not do. Taking the donor money, which they are obviously doing, that he wanted to not do anymore. All of these things that right before he died he wanted to do differently, they're not doing what he wanted. So I don't know what, like, if there's journals and blueprints or whatever that means lying around, it doesn't seem like she's doing what he wanted. Charlie told her to have all of that pyro at his funeral. It was in the blueprints. I'd pay $1 million to give Nicki Minaj away. The whole, I can't believe she said that, like, assassin thing. I don't know. I've never heard of that as a term for somebody. Is that supposed to mean like attractive? Like a killer with looks, like like so attractive that you die? I don't understand. Um I'm sure it is some sort of word that is commonly used for that, but the fact that she said the assassin thing and then realized it, and then it was awkward, and then Erika started kind of laughing about it, was weird. And she was all like, "Oh, I love this woman." Like, really? You love Nicki Minaj because she said assassin? Okay. That whole thing was so weird. Like a James Bond type. Yeah, I've never heard that expression before, but I'm not up to date on all the latest slang that is commonly used. All right, let's finish out this little bit.
But more so than that, I was his vault for literally everything. He shared everything with me, his vision, his dreams, and I know now more than ever, and he was always a hard worker, but now more than ever, he's up in heaven orchestrating and sitting and strategizing.
Is that what he's doing? He's up in heaven strategizing about how to get this TPUSA thing to raise more money, or what? I thought being up in heaven was supposed to be like, you weren't supposed to concern yourself with down there in the world stuff anymore. You were like beyond that. I don't know. What do I know? Strategizing for what? Yeah, I guess for TPUSA to raise more money. I mean, what else is he gonna strategize? He's supposed to be worshiping God. Oh, is that? I'm not familiar, but that sounds right to me. I think if it's between worshiping God and strategizing on how TPUSA is going to raise more money, I think it's worshiping God sounds more correct to me. Do they need TPUSA in heaven? It's her demeanor, man. If one was authentic with those words, we'd have sympathy. I agree. Despite like me not being a fan of Charlie and not really like caring for the TPUSA stuff and all of that, I think if she really was genuinely grieving for the loss of her husband, I I agree. I think myself and probably most of the world would be absolutely feel bad for her and like really feel like, oh no, like this woman lost somebody she really cared for. But every time I see her, she's either like always like so giddy with excitement about doing this and being on stage and speaking here and doing that. Like she just seems so happy about everything she's gained, and not and every time she has to talk about like, oh, I lost my husband, it feels performative. It feels wrong. It doesn't come across as someone who's really grieving in any sense of the word. Strategizing how to worship God better. There we go. Problem solved. Problem solved. We got it figured out.
And I can just feel it. I can feel it. And so all I want is to be able to make sure we honor Charlie. We keep fighting the good fight, and we...
Yeah, if you wanted to honor Charlie, it seems like you would fulfill what he was planning on doing right before he got killed. You would think you would be going in that direction and doing all that stuff, and not having Ben Shapiro speak, and not having Nicki Minaj, and being best friends with Candace and trying to get to the bottom of everything, of all of the weirdness that went on. You would want like every little like stone turned, but no, I guess not. Goody is a good way to put it. The beauty queen actresses in the spotlight. Yeah, that's all she's ever wanted. Ever since she was however old, she's always wanted to do this or that or this or that in front of the camera. If it's photos, pageants, she was trying to she was trying to do like movies, reality TV, some kind of like news anchor thing. I don't even remember all of the things. It's such a long list of things that were look at me, I'm in front of the camera kind of stuff. Truly like the Princess of Persia. Yeah, I mean, it's not my personal style, but if that's her thing, like the one thing about her like overall like outfits and stuff is it's very like sparkly and very like I think the jewelry in combination with the sparkly, if it was just like she likes jewelry and like she wears the rings that represent her kids or whatever, I don't know why you have to have like rings that are obnoxious to represent your kids, but whatever. Like if that could be fine on its own, but all of that combined with the flashy everything else is odd. You would think I don't know. Am I old fashioned for thinking like if you just lost your husband, you should be wearing like plain black stuff and grieving and not really worrying about like the sparkliest outfit you could possibly wear? But I don't know. Maybe that's old school, but I always thought like if somebody close to you dies, you wear black for a long time, a while. I don't know. 40 something days at least, something like that. But it seems like everything is the opposite of what we expect it to be. That's why I always say never trust fake blondes. Oh no, I'm in trouble. 10 rings, 4 necklaces. It's like, come on, dude, a long black veil is more appropriate. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if it was just like a plain like black t-shirt and even like sweatpants, whatever, like plain like dark clothing, it would be more normal than like, okay, sure, like a long black veil is a little it's a little excessive, but that could be flashy and more appropriate than like the shiny outfits. I'll give you that. Like if she wants to be flashy, that is a way to be flashy and still at least be like in the general area of like grief appropriate clothing choices. I'll give you that. But that would be a little excessive. All right. Next one that I thought was interesting. Oh, 114. so this is a university called Ole Miss, like OLE, like Ole Miss, Mississippi. Apparently it's one of their biggest chapters, but we'll hear that. They'll let us know. 14, still a little bit. Over. All right, so here we'll start over here.
The next day, Erika was back in Phoenix, on her way to work for another jam-packed day at Turning Point.
So what we missed over here is basically there's a Turning Point event or something, and
Reality.
The next day,
and they sort of like describe what's going on. This is still part of that like Fox Nation interview. It seems like they followed her along for like a few days or something.
day, Erika was back in Phoenix, on her way to work for another jam-packed day at Turning Point headquarters.
When is she spending time with her children? Because it seems like she spent all the time traveling to Mississippi and doing that event and then traveling back. So that's at least a full day of stuff over in like another state. And now she is traveling back on her way to work for another jam-packed day at TPUSA. Who's watching the kids? The kids just lost their dad, and they don't even have their mother to help them deal with the loss or anything. They're just sort of somewhere. Hopefully they at least have grandparents or somebody that they know that cares for them. Somebody that at least cares about them watching them. Hopefully they at least have that somewhere. But you would think like a mother, a traditional supposedly mother, would be with the kids in this like extremely traumatic time of their lives, but I guess not. On Zoom calls, probably. That does seem to be her thing.
Last night was.
And what is this like? This is like. I understand people like know who she is now. I'm sorry for saying like so much, but this is like, this sort of outfit is what I expect for, I don't know, who's a super famous person. I don't even know famous people. What do kids like nowadays? Billie Eilish. This is like what I expect Billie Eilish, who is like a super famous pop star that all the kids are obsessed with, to dress like when she is out and about doing something in the world and doesn't want to be recognized. Like, this is a more and this is a more like grief appropriate outfit. When she's trying to play like famous pop star, I gotta wear a hat and sunglasses and like an inconspicuous coat. That's when she looks like the most grieving. This is weird, but like, I don't know, this is weird.
Amazing. Yeah. I don't think I can ever put into words. I mean, obviously, that was my first campus. I mean, in fact, on a campus event, it was sitting, next to Shirley. I mean, I always got it. I always supported him for everything, but now to see it.
How was the energy?
This whole like, oh, it was amazing. Everybody was looking at me. I had this thing and I got to go on stage and it was so cool. And she had to like toss in like, oh well, I always supported Charlie, but now it's like everybody, it's all about me. It's different now. It's all about me this time. It was about Charlie before, but now it's me.
Energy of the room, like were the students.
Such a strong chapter. That's one of our. I think that might be our strongest chapter. One of our strongest.
No, it was
like 1,500 students.
It's one of those things where when you walk on stage, you feel like this energy and presence in the crowd.
Do they stay standing for you?
They stood.
I was about to say, I heard that. I was looking.
Yeah, I don't know. She seems awfully happy about going on stage and people looking at her and paying attention. I don't know. And the little, like, the weird little outfit of, like, I'm a famous pop star. Someone's gonna recognize me. I gotta wear the hat so people don't know who I am. It's cringe. Haha, so funny. Did they set an attention for you? Yeah, I mean, that was weird. I think that's pretty much it. We already heard the fight stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably all for the Erika clips. I need to take a little bit of break for a little bit. Maybe like 5-10 minutes, but I'll be back to do like a little bit of the J stuff, but I need a little break. But I'll be back in a bit. Hello, I'm back. Sorry about that. Sometimes you gotta take a little break. It happens. I gotta figure out something for, like if I ever need to use a restroom or something, to do some sort of video for that duration, so it's not like a boring be right back screen, but more of like an interesting be right back screen. That might be something I should work on. I have been playing a little bit with those, with like the AI video stuff, but I also find those annoying when people play those like randomly or like when they get donations and stuff like that. Not that I really get donations, but like if I did, I don't think I would play those then, because I don't like it when other people do it, so I probably wouldn't. But for like intermission for like a be right back screen, I think those might be something interesting to watch meanwhile rather than just the words. So that might be something fun that I could work on. Or if anybody else has ideas or wants to put together like fun little intermission videos or whatever, if someone has that as a hobby, I'm open to maybe using some of those for like a be right back screen sort of thing. Anyway, don't get lost. I did not get lost, so there is that. I don't understand the words. If this is about me, I am not on the left. And I don't know what you're talking about. And that is... So on one hand, I do think that ice in particular is not really... I don't think it's doing a good job, and I think that it's gotten out of hand. But I don't think that we should have nothing. I just think that maybe that agency isn't really doing so well and maybe needs to be restructured or somehow reformed or something. But I don't think that we shouldn't have like any immigration controls whatsoever. Quite the opposite. But also we shouldn't be murdering citizens. And yeah, I'm not going to get too deep into that since that's not really what tonight is about. But hopefully that clears it up for you. Yeah, I mean, we have to have something. Ideally, it's better than what we have now, but we have to have something. We can't just have nothing. There we go. All right. Let me get... Make sure I got all the... I think I got all of the Erika stuff done. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything here while I still have it open. You know what? There is... Maybe this might be something. Photos. Prince of this world. Game time decision. This or that. We already got him up in heaven orchestrating and strategizing. We already did that one. There might be something in the beginning there. Let me see if this is anything. 3205. Let me just see if this one might be worth. Real quick before I move on, I think there might be something fun here. I think I missed. Right.
But him of all people. So he, it's, you know, he literally blinked and probably thought he was raptured and looked around and was like, where's everybody else? He blinked and he was with the Lord.
And you wanted to see Charlie immediately.
He blinked and he thought everybody else was raptured. Okay. I don't think this one is going to be that fun. All right. Well, let's move on to the J. Dyer debate. So I don't want to do the whole debate because it's late and there is a lot of it. But there was a bit of it that I saw and I was like, no. All right, let me pull it up. Give me just a minute. Let me switch over here. And we'll do... Okay. We'll scoot it down a little bit. And... Oops, I broke it. I can do this. I got this. I know what I'm doing. Sometimes. Some of the times I know what I'm doing. Only some of the times. Oh my god, why isn't it working? Come on. Oh, this is being a little butt. This is being a butt. Oh. Really? Oh, jeez. Okay. If you want to play it like that. Oh my goodness. This is the worst thing in the world. Okay. Oh, I got you now. Oh no, that's too much. Oh, what is going on here? Oh man, I broke it again. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, over. Oh, yeah, so I had it right the first time. Oh my goodness. I really need to get my shit together. Okay. Here it is. So... Yeah, we definitely need something, but yeah, the ice is not doing well. Andrew Lubzev from the J. Dyer debate, it seemed like no second format made him uncomfortable a handful of times. Yeah, this was a really weird debate. I also found that Andrew is supposed to be moderating here, I think, but he kept helping Jay. And at times he tried to make it seem like it was balanced by, like, also saying, well, Jay, you have to answer this question or whatever on, like, on behalf of Gnostic Informant. But it seemed more like like he was trying to balance it a little bit so nobody could say he was biased, basically. But he was helping Jay a lot more. Like, I don't know. I think as far as moderators go, I usually don't see moderators doing this much in a debate. I usually see them sort of like, oh, well, don't talk over each other kind of thing. But as far as being like, oh, you have to answer this question, you have to answer that question, he just asked you a question, you can't, like, it seemed like Andrew's playing a bigger role in the debate on the side of J. Dyer than a moderator normally would. So that's why I'm not sure, like, is this supposed to be, is he even a moderator here, or is this supposed to be some kind of like, it can't be like a 2-on-1, right? But because he like tried to make it seem like he was being fair, which he still really wasn't. But anyway, it was weird, and it got very circular as these debates tend to do. Yeah, absolutely. Defnet's having some sort of war screen. I'm sorry about that. I got it figured out though. I got it. Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, and then sometimes I know what I'm doing, and then I get it figured out, and I think we're okay now. Okay. Smoky Man Pad. He even bragged about how unbiased he was at the end. Oh, is that true? I never finished this, but the parts that I did see were this was terrible. So in the beginning they have a lot of long sort of intro kind of things, and it was a lot of them kind of talking at each other, but I don't know if there was really I find in debates like this, until they get to the real back and forth, the opening statements don't really do a whole lot. Although there was some, like one would say something and somebody would respond in their response, but because they weren't directly back and forth, it was kind of hard to keep track of, like what each person's list of points were, and then what the other person's list of points are, and for each one also the rebuttals for each other's points. So that's why I don't really like debates when they have very long opening statements or very long sort of rebuttals and things like that, because I lose track of like what the points are on each side and what the rebuttals are on each side, and it's sort of a confusing mess. But one thing that Dyer kept not kept but said in I think this was a rebuttal, because so Gnostic Informant at some point pointed out that the Trinity doesn't really make sense, how it could be one and many, or one and three at the same time or whatever. And Dyer had a response to that, something about he was like drawing on a paper. He's like, here's one and now, or like here's a three and then it's one. Anyway, I'll show you, because he does it again. And as soon as they get into the open conversation here, they Jay brings up his little notepad and the number 3 and everything. This was difficult to watch. And that's probably one of the reasons why I never finished it, because this debate was so annoying that at some point I gave up. Is Gnostic Informant bald? He's our only hope for a bald reference. Oh no. I don't know. He has a hat on, but we haven't had anybody bald earlier. I think I might. You brought it up though, so it's still in the conversation now. I thought I would escape it, but keeping me on my toes. I need to do like a bald man emoji or something. Respect everybody who bald, who is balding, who was bald. You know what? I'm gonna move on, because this probably makes no sense to most people. He might be bald, but this is purely speculation. Oh god, that just reminded me. Andrew did the hair thing during the Q&A. He had to get it in during this one. Is that true? I didn't know that. I didn't get to the Q&A. That might be fun to watch. But Andrew often, like, kind of where the bald thing came from is Andrew has on more than one occasion sort of made fun of men for being bald. Like it's something that's like a weird thing to happen when it's very normal for men to bald. It's called male pattern baldness. It's a normal thing to happen to many men. I don't even know the right percentage. It could be most. And he's acting like it's like a weird thing to poke fun at. Like, yeah. And then he also brags about being a hair model at some point. So he takes hair very seriously. Is this during this debate or this Q&A for this debate? There was a hair thing? That would be crazy, because then we could make or I guess check the box for the bald thing happening here too. Yeah, someone brought up Sam Shamoon. I don't know who that is. Andrew mocked him by doing the hair thing. I forgot exactly when. Oh, no way. That's crazy. So we can check off the little baldness checkbox in this one as well. 50% of men experience male pattern baldness sometimes in life. So, yeah, I figured it was a really high percentage. I didn't know if I could say most because I wasn't sure, but it seems like a very normal part of men getting older. So it's, I don't know, to make fun of something like that to me seems insane and pretentious and cringe. Anyway, so this is where Jay tries to convince Gnostic informant that the whole Trinity concept is somehow perfectly normal. Oops.
I'm on this one. It's just open floor.
So I'll just start with Neil. I'm not talking about the book. I'm talking about the numeral 3. Is the numeral?
Is that sound a lot louder, or is that okay? Let me know if I need to adjust anything.
One thing, or is it 3?
Like compared to my sound, I really need to play with that properly. I'm gonna do that probably tomorrow sometime. I'll have to figure out the sounds thing so I don't keep asking. Let me turn it down just a little bit. Okay.
Well, it's one number, so it's the number 3.
So it's 1 and 3.
But it's the number 3, but it's one thing.
Yeah. So is that 3 things and one thing?
It's not 3 things. It's one thing.
The number 3 is not 3.
Look at him. He's like, what is that? What? This is like, I've got something here. You're so stupid. That's what that is, because he's acting like he just explained something really obvious to a 5-year-old, but he's not even making sense at all. Like that, he's mixing up concepts that aren't the same thing, and like what those are not 3 things. Like to even try to explain to a grown man that a representative of a number, like a symbol that is a representation of a number of potential things, is not the same thing as those actual things. I can't even. That's why I think so. Gnostic informant here, he tries to kind of wrestle with this because on Jay's part, to be so confident about something so stupid is completely it's off. Like, how do you even argue against someone who thinks they are so right about something so stupid on such a basic level? I don't even have other words. I should have other words besides stupid, but how do you even explain to somebody something like that? It's almost too basic to try to reason with, because it's so simply wrong that it's even hard to explain. So I understand why Gnostic Informant didn't do like the best here, trying to exactly, like he goes through this thing, or is it one, or is it many, and something about parts. We'll let it play out, but Dyer sort of kind of babbles him into saying something that sounds a little bit like agreement with his point, but he doesn't have a point to stand on. It's all trying to mess with language, basically. It's a complete mess. Oh yeah, the baldness thing, that is very superficial and trivial, and I agree that it shows lack of character. Hopefully I fixed that loudness a little bit. This point was confusing. Wouldn't that be a category error? Yeah, this is all sorts of. I think this is probably a handful of logical fallacies all together in one. The symbol of 3 doesn't embody 3 things literally. Jace pose is fabulous. That is very like. Yeah, it's. He's waiting for Nels to confirm it to realize how based his example is. Yeah, he's like, look at this number 3. Look at it. We'll let it play out, but it's this is a complete.
The number 3 can count. You can count 3 things using the number 3.
This is 3 and 1.
It's just the number 3 on a piece of paper. That means nothing.
Right, so it's 1 and 3.
No, it's not. It's one thing.
It's not 3.
It's one thing with the number 3 on it.
So
We use
numbers...
3. We use 3 to count things. We don't just put 3 on something and it becomes 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So all numbers are only one thing.
This has a bunch of numbers on it. Does that make it the numbers?
Well, again, whether you think it has ontological existence or not is different from the fact that.
And just starting to pepper in sort of random philosophy bro, philo bro. You know what? Whatever. Let's pepper in some metaphysical, philosophical sounding words, and that will throw you off the whole. Like the bottle thing was actually a pretty good example of trying to point out how ridiculous this whole 3 and 1 thing is. Like, are these numbers? And when he got the bottle example, which was a pretty good counter to a point that's ridiculous, it's I can't even fathom. But that was a decent counter, and he immediately starts peppering in like, oh, ontologically, blah blah. He's confused because of the 3-to-1 shampoo condition body wash. Oh. What's the axiom for the number 3? Yeah, it's like I'll let him do it, but he constantly does this in debates.
That the number 3 is not just 1. You think it has ontological existence or not is different.
Well, you think it has ontological existence or not? That is so annoying.
Different from the fact that the number 3 is not just 1, it's also 3.
But it's one thing that has the number 3 on it. That's literally
and what does
reality.
The number 3 signify, Neil?
3.
Thank you.
But that's the.
Why does he keep acting like he has something here? Like, his whole demeanor is, oh, I'm gonna teach you something. But this is. I don't even have words for this. I was surprised with how ridiculous this was.
Doesn't make the number. That doesn't make that 3 things. That's just what the number signifies.
This is also a signifier, right?
Yeah, but if you gave me that,
1 and 3 are signifiers, right?
If you gave me that to signify 3, I would say 3 what?
It
3
doesn't
books?
Matter.
Yes, it does matter.
No,
We're trying to be coherent here, right? Coherent is
no,
that the
if it's a signifier, then 1 is also a signifier.
So you're just saying 1 is 3. Great. Gets me nowhere.
No, I'm saying it's 3 and 1, Neil. Are you fundamentally unable to understand that?
No, I understand what you're trying to say. It doesn't make sense though.
Okay, then is the
1
number
can't be
1
3.
Is the
Either
number
1 is 1
also
or
a
3 is 3.
signifier? This is fundamentally stupid. Is the number.
This is fundamentally stupid, Jay. Mr. Dyer. This is fundamentally very stupid on your part.
1 a signifier?
Yes.
Okay, how many is that?
That's 1.
Okay. How many is that one?
That's a 1 and a 2.
No, this.
2.
Okay, so is this 1 object itself, the symbol itself?
The symbol is 2.
Thank you.
But that's not. But you can't say that this book is now 2 things now.
But 1 is also a symbol.
I know.
The fact that symbols exist for things and we can count things with it doesn't. That's not a point. That I don't. Do we even have to comment on this? This is completely stupid.
I know, but the book is still one
you already
thing.
admitted it's a both and, Neil.
No, you asked me what the symbol means. That was you slipped that in there at the end.
Signifier. They're signifying
Nice try.
1.
It didn't work.
This is 1 object that's a signifier of 2 things.
Right, but you're still holding 1 thing in your hand.
I'm talking about the numbers, Neil. Not
I know
the book.
the number means 2. I get that, but
Okay,
the thing in your hand is still one
Neil,
thing.
this is fundamentally stupid. The number
It is fundamentally.
I keep saying fundamentally stupid, like it's the other guy's fault that this whole thing is fundamentally stupid. My goodness. Guys, what's the symbol of number 2? It's 1, but also 2. It's one thing.
The
Stupid.
numeral,
You're
the
right. It
symbol.
is so fundamentally stupid.
Okay.
How many
So
things?
this,
But again, like simply putting numbers on a paper and saying to the question, Nasika from earlier said 3 what? What are we counting? And Jay said doesn't matter. I think it does matter if we're trying to say like what are the things. If we're trying to talk about the things that the numbers are referencing, we need to know what things we're talking about. It can't be like, because he's trying to say that the symbol itself is the thing, and if the symbol is more than 1, then the thing is more than 1 somehow also, even though it's the symbol itself. This is moronic.
what is this?
That's the Roman numeral 2.
And what is this?
2.
Right. So
Okay.
they both refer to what?
Those numbers, those symbols mean 2.
Right.
2
is
what?
this one thing as a whole?
The number is 2.
Thing?
The number
is
means
this
2.
one thing on the page right here?
It is one thing on the page, yes.
Thank you. So it's one
symbol.
in many. You just admitted it.
But it's still one thing.
Are you fundamentally stupid? You just
I'm
said
asking
it's
you,
also
you can
one
say
in
one
many.
thing is, you can put a number 2 on my head and say, I'm 2
one
things
and
now.
many is the point of this, that something can be singular and also many at the same time. For example, take an object like a book. Neil, is a book, does it have many parts?
Yeah.
And here he moves on from trying to talk about how a symbol for a number is more than one thing somehow, and then he moves on to an object and parts, which is a different concept entirely. Because earlier it was like, oh, the symbol and if you draw a number, it somehow represents like blah blah blah, whatever nonsense. And now he's moving on to, oh well, a thing can have many parts, which is a completely different thing than when he was talking about earlier.
Yes.
Okay, is it also one book?
It's one book.
Thank you. So it's one and many. So objects can be.
He's trying to say that one and many is somehow the same thing or equivalent to one thing being also many things, and somehow solves the problem of that not being coherent. But it doesn't, because I mean, obviously one thing can have many parts, but those parts aren't the same as the original thing. They are subcategories of the original object thing. So when it's many things, they're not the same kinds of things as the original thing if they are parts of it, because you can't have, like, for instance, you can't have a person, and if you have many parts to a person like arms and legs, and each body part isn't its own person. Again, it's a smaller, like a different category of things. So yeah, this whole, oh, one thing is many things, and simply by saying the word thing, it somehow equivocates on the word thing to mean the same, referring to the same object or the same type of object, but it doesn't work like that.
You one and many at the same
It's
time,
still one
answering
book.
your question.
Yes, but that now you have a problem now. You have one entity with 3 parts. How do you make it 3 distinct things?
Neil, you argued that something can't be one and many at the same time.
I can have different parts. I didn't say that. I said one can have different parts. I didn't say one can be many at the same time. That's why the emanations is a better account for
you said
the emanations accounts better.
I'll say exactly what you said. Something cannot be one and many at the same time in the
It can have many parts, is what I said.
No, you.
This whole thing is basically Jay trying to play with language and take advantage that the word thing is sort of ambiguous, and take advantage that the numbers and the way we do numbers is like symbolic of counts of real things potentially, and trying to say that the numbers themselves are multiples somehow versus symbols, then trying to say that a thing is somehow also parts, and the parts are also a thing. And because you use this ambiguous word thing that could be different kinds of things, he treats it as the same kind of thing, which, yeah, I mean, lots of play on language here, and this would drive me mad. I could not. I don't know. Like, Gnostic informant here. I don't know how. I don't know how he does it. I really don't. I am baffled that this conversation is still going. Like, this is over an hour in, and it's still going on. I would have lost my shit by now. For somebody to be that obtuse, seemingly on purpose, that is super icky. Someone would also too. It's relevant. You just admitted what you've mentally stupid. He says the fundamentally stupid thing several times when it's really him that is acting fundamentally stupid. Of course, it's Plato. Why are grown men arguing about kindergarten concepts? Yeah, this is gross. This whole conversation is gross. But for him to go on and on and on about it, he's not letting go of this bone.
You said, quote, something cannot be one and many at the same time in the same way. I wrote down the quote.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I've never stopped
Is
saying
this
that.
book one thing and many things at the same time?
It's one thing with many parts.
Mm-hmm.
That's different.
So it's one and many?
It's one thing with many parts. It's different.
And so is it one and many at the same time?
It's one book with many parts. That's how you describe
one and
it.
many.
It's one and many. Yeah, it's one in many parts.
Thank you. That's
why is he acting like he won something there? Anybody who watches this and thinks, "Oh wow, Dyer just owned that guy. He totally won that conversation. That bit right there. Gnostic informant conceded that this is one and done. Wow, Dyer winning the whole debate." Anybody who thinks that, I don't understand how people can function and agree with Dyer on this. If you can function in day-to-day life and agree with Dyer in the situation, those two concepts seem like they don't go together. I can't imagine somebody functioning and thinking the way that Jay does. I can't imagine that working. How? It's completely incoherent. There's no logical sense being made whatsoever. It's total nonsense. It's a pile of verbal diarrhea and nothing else. There's no substance to it. There's nothing. There's nothing there. There's no there. It's sort of empty word diarrhea. Ugh, that's gross. They don't even think they're wrong though. They think that we're the dumb ones. Yeah, that's the scariest part. Because look how confident he is. He is so sure of himself here, but completely nonsense. All that's coming out of his mouth is nonsense, and he's so confident about it. That is the weirdest part, is how he seems so sure of himself, but is so very wrong.
So you
that was cheap, dude. That was cheap. Anyone watching this with a normal IQ understands what just happened.
So now you're going.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good point.
Going into ad hominem because
all right. Maybe I'll lay out the ad homs then. Okay.
I don't even think that was an ad hominem. I think that was facts. Basic facts.
Any more questions you got?
Sure.
I want to know what the Trinity. I want to know how the Trinity. I mean, you're saying the Trinity could be 1 and 3 at the same time. Fine, we can.
Oh no.
Move past that.
I don't think we can move past that, but I think I don't think there was another option, because I could see Jay going on and on and on about the same thing over and over and over and over. I could see that happening. Andrew and Jay took victory laps afterwards, and they were all so condescending. I believe it. You know what? I believe it. That's basically something that if that didn't happen, I would be surprised. Regardless of how poorly they do, it's basically required to say that you won and sort of try to rub it in and act like you won and the other person is so totally stupid, and it's so totally obvious that they are the totally super smart logical winners, and everybody else is basically just in the fiffies. They can't handle the logic. Everybody has, they're all up in their feelings, and it's all about the facts with the crucible people. That's what it's all about. Jay has already called him fundamentally stupid several times before Gnostic. These people can't follow simple. No way. Oh, man.
I think it's nonsense.
Yeah, but you already admitted the contradiction, so you can think it's nonsense, but you can't.
I never admitted the contradiction. I'm talking about parts.
Well, you just
versus,
did.
Talking about parts versus.
You just contradict yourself like 10 times.
Oh, you think I did?
You said the
you
parts
want
are
people
many.
to think I did.
Is
you
it
want
one
people
and
to
many?
think I did. It's one thing with many parts.
So it's one and many.
So it's one thing with many
And
parts.
many. Thank you.
Many what? The whole concept of, I think what would have been better here is maybe not call it a thing. Maybe put it to an example and compare it to, say, a person or something, like kind of how I did earlier, because it's harder to say that one person is also many people, right? It's one person has many organs and limbs and whatever. So it's easier to picture, even for those who may not understand that thing means something different here when it's a part. I think that might have been good, but I understand why he didn't, because it seems like it should be obvious, right? It seems like it should be obvious that if something is a part of something, it's not the same thing as that thing, because duh. So I kind of understand why he didn't feel the need to like explain it in a different way, because it seems so obvious that it's weird to even argue about it. Excuse me, voice. How is he supposed to win other than declare victory? Exactly, that's the only way. The only way is you basically declare you won, and that means you won. Might doesn't make right, might makes virtually identical. That one is, I really hate it when they say that, because rights are, the whole thing is about rights, and rights are inherently sort of a moral concept. So whether something makes right, that's literally referring to whether it's right or wrong to do something, and that's directly related to rights. It's whether it's right or wrong to treat people a certain way. So saying that might doesn't make right necessarily, even though they obviously believe that might only makes in general makes what? Because if it's related to rights, which it always is somehow, then it's might makes right. That's what it is. I know they don't like calling it that, because everybody sort of knows that that's not a good argument, and so they try to frame it as something else, but that's what it is. It's might makes right. That's what it is. They can try to scream all they want that it's not, but that's what they're arguing for. Right, I'm not gonna stuck on that one too long. I'm sorry. It's every time I see that, I get a little bit annoyed.
So again, you're repeating yourself over and over.
You want me to say that? Then sure. You want me to be incoherent? Because I'm not going to do it.
Do I want you to be incoherent?
Yeah. Is it one and many? No, it's not one and many. It's one with many parts. Am I many things at once?
1 second, I need to get some water. I'm gonna come off for a minute.
Yeah, you have many parts.
Something else. Yeah, I have many parts. Exactly. I have a hand. I have an eyeball. But it's all Neil. I have different cells that don't.
So it's one and many. Thank you. You're just making
one and many parts. Why can't you agree
that you add parts doesn't matter, Neil, because it's one.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Oh my
Parts
If
is
you
what
admit
makes.
that it's many, it doesn't matter. Obviously, many would be parts. That's contained in the idea of many.
But that's all I'm agreeing to is that it's one thing still with
So it's
different
one
parts
and
within it.
many, regardless of part. Parts is contained in the idea of many.
Yeah, but many is the parts. It's not many different things. It's not different things
wait.
altogether.
The parts aren't different things?
The parts are different parts.
You said they're not different things.
The parts are different parts.
You said they're not different things.
Well, they're not. That's my hand is still Neil's hand. It's part of me.
Okay, but it's not a different thing from your
It's
arm?
not your hand. It's not
You
Andrew's
said
hand.
it's not different things.
Can
Neil.
it be Neil's? Can my hand be your
Is it
hand?
a different thing from your leg?
Yes.
So it is different things. Which again, you're contradicting every
It's a different
few
part.
sentences.
I keep saying it's a different part.
You said
Anyways.
they're not different things.
I said it's a different part.
You
I said it
they are not different
20,000
things.
times
You literally
already.
just said that.
I said one thing has many parts.
They're going in circles over and over and over, and the whole time Jay really thinks he's got something there. I couldn't do this. This sort of debate, I couldn't do that. I would be too annoyed. This is infuriating. How can you keep going with something so idiotic and act like you have something that... One thing that Wilson did make me think about is the concept of rights. Me too. Because that's something I didn't really consider before, because besides the fact that, the basic stuff, like, oh, we have rights that are granted by government that are legal rights, and then there's this concept of human rights that's different. So I had an idea of those things in general, but I never thought about it for too long, I suppose. So, there's that. Obviously, I'm taking that into account. I just want you to agree with my wording. Maybe I missed something. I should have played that sooner. Maybe that was related to what was on screen. My bad. That very exhausting. It all comes back to following their dialogue trees. That is something that I also heard. I've heard several people say that they have certain dialogue trees, and if you step outside of them, they will force you back onto it. And until you say exactly what they want you to say, they're not going to let go. And it's very annoying. It's not even really a way to debate. It's basically... I don't know. It's not even really a debate or a conversation at that point. It's basically pressuring somebody into saying some exact thing that will make you... that will allow you to make your point the way you want to. So, yeah, really not something that's a genuine conversation or debate. It's more like, oh, you gotta check here, and then they sort of have a plan of how it's supposed to come together in the end.
Within it, everything has many parts.
And then you said they're not different things.
Okay, let's do something more basic.
Well, are they different things or not?
Is this one thing or many things?
It's both.
Really? Where is it?
What do you mean?
What else? What is it? What's so different about it? What else is there?
What?
Why is he laughing like this is something stupid, but what he's been doing for the past, I don't know, 15 minutes wasn't? Like that was somehow different, what he was doing, and this is like, haha, funny. This is so annoying. It's literally forced doctrine, unironically. Oh, the dialogue trees, or like, what is this?
I mean, it has a surface and it has a cap.
Oh, okay. So it has different parts. Exactly.
Yeah, but Neil, you said different parts are not different things.
Well, if you want to describe parts as things, then I would have to ask you what you mean by things, and you would say it's parts, and I would say,
What?
Okay, yes.
he's only using the concept of how thing in the English language is a sort of a vague concept that you can't really pin down what thing is unless you define what thing is ahead of time. And so you can have a thing with many things that are different. So you would say, oh, that's not a thing, because if thing is A, you could say, well, that's not A because it's not a thing. But because it's such a vague concept that could represent basically anything, you could also say that, yes, those are things because of the way the English language works. So this is such a dumb trick. What do things mean? Yeah, if he wasn't using the word things, this whole argument would completely collapse. If they simply put a different word in there, the argument would make zero sense.
This is just regular English right here.
Okay, no. All right. Do you want to ask the next question, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I mean, I threw at you a lot of biblical contradictions, and like like you seem to be very adamant that the world is only 6,000 years old because the Bible says so. I don't even blame you. You're trying to stay consistent in your worldview, but even your church doesn't have a stance on this, or like things like evolution.
Why does the church have to have a stance on the age of the earth?
I mean, these are fundamental things about our reality where you and I are debating on these things.
Hold on. How do you? So you know the age of the earth?
Yeah.
You said it's fundamental, right?
Yeah.
Well, if it's fundamental, it's a dogma. Is it a dogma,
No,
or is there only
not
one
not a dogma? But I'm saying, like, if the Bible says the earth is 6,000 years old and we have empirical data that contradicts that, that's a problem for you. How do you? What do you just deny empirical data? Is that how this works?
No, I already said at the beginning that we don't deny empirical data.
So what do you do when people show? What do you do when paleontologists and archaeologists dig deep under the ground and they predict exactly what's going to be down there based on other digs for the last 100 years?
Do you understand that when you look at an object doesn't give you age? It's an interpretation of the object.
Yeah, but I mean, I just asked you a specific question on how paleontologists can dig to certain levels on the ground and predict to a T 99.9% of the time what's going to be down there based on the other digs around the world.
But there's also
Okay. Yeah, I mean, on one hand, I understand where Gnostic Informant is coming from, but also I don't know if that's the best argument in this case, because you can point to exceptions, and I think Dyer here is hitting, well, what if it's the exception, which you can go into likelihood and things like that, but I don't know. Honestly, I didn't think that was the best argument, especially since for Dyer every like potential hole is, you know, he really exploits every little thing. Dyer believes that the Earth is only 6K years old. Didn't know that. Yeah, him and Jim Bob are really against evolution, and they're always debating about, oh, well, it's not the scientific method, and they're very... For people that are that into debating evolution, they really don't know anything about it, and that's coming from me, who basically last time I remember studying relevant things was in like middle school, and I still remember the basic concepts enough to see that what they're saying doesn't make any sense. And I'm seeing a pattern here of confidently saying things that don't make sense. How can somebody be so sure of themselves saying something so false? Straight up false. It's something, that's for sure. So I don't want to do this whole debate, but I kind of wish I could skip to the parts where that bald thing sounds funny and then the boasting thing sounds funny. I don't have timestamps for those, which would be cool to have. Maybe we can finish this one on Saturday, but I kind of wanted to do the Papa got one on Saturday. But this one is also pretty funny. But it also is very annoying, so I don't know, there's also that. I don't know if I want to torture myself by doing the whole thing, but I do at least want to find those timestamps for those clips for next time. Because that sounds like it might be funny to hit those ones, those particular ones that you guys mentioned in the chat. It's cultism or strict ideology more than knowledge. Yeah, I could see that, because it's very religion centric, but there are plenty of Christians that believe in science and they don't really have an issue with the scientific knowledge that we've discovered working to sort of in combination with their belief in God, because there are a lot of things in the Bible that people today don't practice or believe, so it's not like unheard of to choose the parts that you like and kind of leave some of the weirder ones that don't really have anything to do with our culture today. Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna leave off here because I didn't want to spend too much time tonight, but I did want to hit at least that portion there with the paper, because I I was watching that and I was so confused and dumbfounded how that could be a real argument. And these are the people that are supposed to be master debaters. Like this guy down here, he sells a debate university course. And if this is what we can expect from debate university, that's sad. So, yeah, the fact that this debate university debate master thinks that J. Dyer won that's telling, I suppose. But that's pretty much that. And the bald thing does sound funny, I agree. I do want to find it. I think I'll try to pull the script afterwards and try to find all of the funniest little clip things, so we don't have to watch the whole thing on Saturday either. Self-torture. Every time someone challenges my point on X, I'm going to hold up the number 2 and 3. That's, yeah, I mean, if that's what counts as an argument nowadays, and that's what we can expect as somebody who runs debate university to say, like, that's how you win. This is a winner right here. And if this is what a winner does in a debate, according to debate university professor or something, that's what everybody has to start doing. Every time you feel like you're losing, or the person you're debating somehow has a hand up or is ahead in some way, all you got to do is pull out a notebook and start writing numbers on it, and everybody will be too confused to even notice you lost. That's kind of where that's at, but I am starting to lose my voice again. I feel it. I gotta be careful with that. But I think that's pretty much all I wanted to cover anyway. I do think that those other parts sound interesting that you guys brought up in the chat, but I'll have to find those offline, and we'll probably bring them up in the beginning of Saturday's stream. So thank you everybody for hanging out. I appreciate it, and sorry I started later than usual. And yep, you have a good night as well. Thanks everybody. Yeah, and I hope it was as good for you as it was for me. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna stop being weird now and go and try to get some rest. But yeah, thanks for hanging in there with me as well. And you have a good one. Nice to see you again, Ricknell. Everybody else too. I will see you Saturday, I hope. Bye bye.